Welcome back, folks, to Final Fantasy XI. Last time we finished up Seekers of Adeline, and that was an interesting ride, especially towards the end, where things got very unusual. The snake begins. But it is time to begin the second, well, technically the last expansion, technically, I believe is what it's referred to. Technically Voracious Insurgence exists, but as far as it being, the stories in Final Fantasy XI, they are split up between the starter mission, which is the original game, the expansions, which Rhapsodies is considered an expansion, despite not really, it doesn't introduce any new zones or anything. Quite literally, it's a story to wrap up and exist throughout the other stories in weird ways, as time travel tends to do, as we saw with Wings of the Goddess. Yes. And then there's the scenario missions. I'm not going to cover the scenario missions, which are Crystalline Prophecy, the Mughal Kupo Datat, the Shantoto side story, Abyssia, which, yes, we did cover Abyssia a little bit when we first unlocked it, but that was because I was looking for things to do at the time, more than anything. Void Watch and Voracious Insurgents are considered scenario missions, but are not expansions. Those are side stories that don't really mean anything, really. Just note the volume seems to be a bit low. I wonder why that happened. So, once Rhapsodies is done, we are done playing Final Fantasy XI on stream, which should not hopefully take too long, because we were on 219. Chapter 2 has 41 missions in it. Chapter 3 has 35. And that's all there are. So we're about halfway through Chapter 2. So 55 missions. That shouldn't take us more than a couple of weeks. Maybe a month at most. Which is about halfway through the year. But then there will be all of the Final Fantasy XI we will be covering. Honestly, it'll probably take us a little more than 2 weeks, but that's beside the point. Yes, the assumption is, because Iraha disappears from the 11th, from Rhapsodies several times due to the interference of, I believe his name is Cetus, who's one of the big interferences, because again, Rhapsodies deals with, like, Zillert and Chains did, the expanding empty. Especially Chains did, especially when it involved Tenzin. Because the Far East, which is where Iraha is from, because she's Tenzin's daughter, gets consumed by emptiness. Like, Iraha comes from a doomed timeline where the emptiness has literally taken over everything except her small enclave. And it's assumed that somewhere in the, one of the disappearances, she just crosses over. It could have happened at any one of them. The exact specifics are unknown, but I believe she did in the Fate in Final Fantasy XIV is when she learns one of her iconic moves that she eventually uses in the, or can use, in the climactic battle of Rhapsodies. So it's assumed she learned it in, at least this is the more modern interpretation, she crossed over at some point. At some point she crosses back over, probably due to the power of Phoenix, because Phoenix exists within Tenzin's sword. Part of it does. On top of the hundreds, if not thousands of people that had to die to put Phoenix in the blade. But we don't talk about that. That was a Chains of Promethea thing. Yeah. Yeah, putting Phoenix in the sword required a lot of death. Whether Tenzin specifically did it himself in order to have to put Phoenix in there, or he just feels heavily responsible for that, considering he uses Phoenix, that is kind of irrelevant. But yeah, the Far East is dying. In fact, that's the entire reason Tenzin came over in Zillert. I hate having to use that to pronounce it like that, but yes, he came over because the emptiness is consuming them. It eventually destroys all of Vanadiel. And Iroha is sent back in time, where we were apparently her mentor when she was growing up. And then we left to try and stop the empty and failed. Now she's sent back so she can stop it before it gets too bad. Who is behind the empty? Well, everyone thought it was Promathia. Promathia. Excuse me. Use the proper pronunciation. It's Promathia. Ugh. It turns out it's not Promathia at all. What's causing it? Unknown, but we know Cetus is behind it, or at least serving it, trying to cause the empty to happen. Basically, he's trying to keep the timeline the way it's supposed to be, which is the same thing we did in Wings of the Goddess, except we're now on the opposite side of that, trying to change the future. We're in Lilith's position of changing the future. Well, she was trying to preserve her timeline, so it's not quite the same, but we're trying to change a future, which is not what we did in Wings. We're definitely on the other side of that coin. Time travel's weird. Final Fantasy XI has some interesting sets of stories. But anyway, I think we were, let's see, an ambassador escaped last time. Next, we went to Grauberg. And we spawned the Cetus. It wasn't Cetus, whatever his name was. Yeah, I don't know exactly where we're at, but, I know we were trying to track down Iroha, even though she's kind of disappeared again. And there's one location we can go to where she tends to appear at. Right, it's not going to be in there. It's in the Rise of Zillert area. And it's seeing our good old buddy. Come on, pop up the map. Fine, don't pop up the map. It's time to see our good old buddy, Gilgamesh, or at least go to his area. She tends to appear here for not a lot of known reasons. She just kind of does. Good old Norg with good old Gilgamesh. XIV. Interesting. Corlette. The guy who unlocks Samurai. Jakrabal. Yeah, that's Jakrabal. French is weird, and I don't know why he's the samurai guy, but he is. Oi, Rachnios, you got a knack for showing up when people are thinking about ya. Remember how we were talking about the new vortex in Mizero Coast? Yes. Yes, that was one of the new not one of the new Esha areas, but one of the Esha areas, Raun, I think it is, or Ruan. Your husband spotted around there every couple of days. And you didn't know, did you? The two of you last parted ways over an Ottergon, right? Did we? Ottergon was so long ago. I stopped paying... That's how long ago it's been since we focused or had any doings with Rhapsodies. Figured she'd have met up with you once she was feeling better, but for whatever reason she decided to strike out on her own. You must have had a big falling out. What do you mean? You're jealous of her. Well, best for me not to get in the middle. Now that you know where she's been spotted, you best head there too. Knowing Tenzin, he's probably in a tizzy and gone to Mizero Coast already. Truth to be told, I can't imagine it'd be like to you once. What it'd be like to die once, let alone over and over. Youth is so brash. Hopefully the three of you can overcome the trials that are to come. Good old Gilgamesh, the old pirate. Also one of the few people with connections to the Far East. Not that we ever visit the Far East, because again, it is falling apart, quite literally. I mean, that's the thing with the empty, is that literally the world gets drained of color and begins to fall apart. So they are literally at the edge of the world. Vendiel is not a sphere. Or if it is a very shrinking sphere with a very hard edge. Which is basically a disc. It's basically like the first in Final Fantasy XIV with their empty. Except there's no way to fixing this one that we're aware of. Let's see, and that's a Promethea area, Mizero Coast. So back in Tavnazia. There it is. I was looking for the slope up. With their giant 8-foot birds. What do we got going over here? Huh. Let's just leave those two be. I don't think that's a dual boxer. You wouldn't normally be doing things like that. Now if you're dual boxing. Ah, there you are. Oh god, you murdered a ton of things. Why? Master? Is everything alright? Oh, once again, your compassion knows no bounds. I've made a bit of a recovery and am feeling ready to move mountains. I must let you know that I've chanced upon Syren once more. She told me that's something that perhaps you already know. Your presence here brings naught but chaos to this world. She also curiously explained that there was a case for herself as well. This was the case for herself as well. But her situation is a trifle different, for her incarnation already exists in this time. If the two were to join, a small semblance of order would return, perhaps causing one of these rifts to close. And compared to that, my existence is an affront to all nature. I did not mean to trouble you so. Master, your orb has been blessed with even more power than before, has it not? They call it an orb, but it's actually a magtama, I think is what it's called. Ah, what a comforting glow. I've heard such a phenomena, but
to witness it up close. I'm deeply moved by all you've accomplished to get this far. Many and more have supported you in your adventures throughout Vanadiel. This time, I can sense the presence of another who featured prominently in the tales of your adventures, Lilizette.
This is exactly why I'd held off on doing too much of Rhapsodies, because it requires progress in most of the other expansions, and they're out of order. Like, the last one that requires progress is, I believe, Zillert. Oh no, it's Seekers. They're Seekers. Okay, so we have not yet reached the Rise of Zillert. Stopping point, which is weird, because that's Chains of Promethea is like Chapter 2-1. Like the first Chapter 2 story. A quest, which is ridiculously long ago. It's weird how out of order it is.
And you've been assaulted by the Ambassador once more.
Oh, that's what he is. It's called the Ambassador. He don't have his name.
You bested him? Oh, Master, your strength is boundless.
It's hard to keep it straight when you've not literally done it for months.
But he got away, and we're no closer to the truth than we were before. And there were others following in his stead? Please, share with me the story from the very beginning and spare no detail. He was wielding Excalibur. But how? Oh, but only one of those exists in this world. How could he possibly... Unless... Why would he single you out for assault? Master, I require further training at once. Will you show me all I need to know?
Need a minute to think.
Of course. I understand your hesitation. I shall wait for you to come to a decision. Master, have you settled on which type of training I'm to undergo?
Okay, this one... Okay. Depending on which type of training you choose, she's going to then ask you for a specific food item. Honestly, they cost about 15,000 gil a piece, and so all total, unless you're choose style training, which is 13,500 instead of 15, but that requires you to take up a stack of 30, and things don't normally stack to 30. So that takes up more inventory slots. Let's go strength training.
I must confess that I'm lacking definition in my arms and legs. I quite understand why you desire to put me to...
Good lord!
I understand why you desire me to put on some healthy weight, and shall respect your decision. And I would like you to bring me a small gift, and you would like to bring me a small gift to boost my spirits? Ah, your generous soul sparkles throughout the ages. Whilst undergoing training, my mother often opined about the benefits of beef stew pots and their effect on muscle growth. One beef stew pot would be more than sufficient to see me reach my goal.
The other options are, as I said, style would require you to grab 30 spicy crackers, And endurance would be some Zaru Soba. All of which can be conveniently, fortunately, found at the Curio Moogle vendor. Who's found in every home nation. But again, they're about 15,000 apiece, so hopefully you should have enough gil. With as plentiful as gil is, should be in foodstuffs. It should be in here somewhere. Surprisingly, pizza is actually an extremely useful food item to have and consume, because that accuracy is ungodly important at late game. Anyway, where is it? Also, macarons. Also very important. Ah, there it is. The stew pot, the soba, and the spicy crackers. Again, they're not bad food buffs. They really are not. Let's see, chains, Misero right at the bottom. Up, up, and away.
Whilst undergoing training,
Yes, the muscle growth. Do I have to trade it to it? I must have to trade it. There we go.
Master, this is wonderful. I anxiously await learning under your steady hand and unyielding gaze. I pledge to give it my all, using by all means available to me. That was invigorating. But it does put a strain on the stomach. Master, let us share a rice ball.
Meanwhile, we get our chair.
There was something on your chin. Forgive me. I reverted to my old ways before we met. It is a curse from my mother's upbringing. She always said that healthy eating was the key to lustrous black hair. And when we first met, you complimented how well it matched my features. Of course, that's not something I could hope for you to remember. But I was young then, and each day seemed a year long. Yet your praise stuck with me ever since. Thanks to your kind words, I've taken care of it as my pride and joy.
It is quite stunning.
Even in this time, you already know how to make me blush. This reminds me. The ambassador told you he wishes to change the future, did he not? But why would he need to muster the forces of darkness to do so? I cannot make heads or tails of it.
I believe he wants the darkness to come faster.
But that does seem to ring true. Your words have guided me out of confusion. But then how do we explain Excalibur? For, Master, the time has come for you to clash with the ambassador. As you are eminently aware, I am able to return to this world owing to the blessing of Phoenix, and that power alone. Yet such an act is wholly forbidden. There are limits to even that which as grand a power as Phoenix can achieve. Phoenix grows ever weaker each time I am brought back to life. It is selfish of me to use it endlessly, for in reality it's something you are supposed to rely on only when faced with oblivion. You're concerned how I feel after being revived countless times? Any pain I may feel is a tiny prick compared to that suffering, what I've suffered in the future. When I think back to how alone I was before coming here, my heart alone feels like it will burst. Deep inside, I'm one weak person adrift in the sea. Further, I arrived in a time a bit earlier than I intended. Despite this, despite all my failings, Phoenix has seemed to rescue me time and again. I'm but a stain on all the old dear. And that's why I must be there in the final conflict against the ambassador. And if I should falter due to my own unpreparedness, then it shall be no one's fault but my own. I refuse to be a burden any longer. You've striven so hard to fill the orb I gave you with light, and I know you'll be prepared for the final struggle.
We can succeed with Altana's help.
The goddess Altana? I had not expected such a divine proposal. You do not have to display such concern for me. After all, my presence here only serves as an affront to nature. Yet there's a certain logic. Perhaps she would be able to provide us with the guidance we so desperately seek. If anyone would know how to meet with Altana, it would be the ancients. You have a most queer look on your face, Master. On several occasions you've told me about your encounters with them.
Must be you're talking about the Zillert.
Or perhaps, will tell me, would be a better phrase. Stories about Camelot and Eldenark. Those who ruled over Juno were a different race than any of us. Their status as the grand ancestors of this world may provide us with clues. But I know, those who have passed on, no. I speak of asking advice of the Kulu. But we cannot simply drop in without making the proper preparations. We should seek advice from our friends in Norg.
Okay, Bird, you got way too close this time. Just pop out a cutscene and giant bird in your face. So back we go once again to Norg, because Gilgamesh is everywhere? Knows everything? Wrong direction, that's Serpent Tunnels.
Yarr, it has given me the skinny. So you have to meet the ancients, Well, what I'm about to tell you is the same as before. You gotta go to the temple of Ugalepe. Ain't too far. And you've been there once, but then it shouldn't be a problem to make the trek again.
So, Gilgamesh, I fear we know little and less about this temple of which you speak. Yes, that is Greg. And I've forgotten I had a kind of a Scottish-Japanese for Tenzin. I need to remember that one.
It's a bit to the east, beyond Utunga jungle, deep in the innermost recesses of Yotor jungle. Surely you'll want a few of my best men to go with you. Wouldn't do having you get lost.
That would be a boon. Master, let us rendezvous at the temple. I relish the opportunity to meet with the Kulu. His name is Gilgamesh, but he's not, unfortunately, Greg. He's also the adoptive father of Lion, who was the heroine of the base expansion. The base game, not the base expansion. The base game. And there's several ways to get to the temple. We're gonna try one of them. Wings of the Goddess. Sandoria. We're gonna try a Void Watch warp, which should work. I think. This is the one advantage of having done all the expansions before Rhapsodies, is you have all the teleport options, theoretically. Never mind. Never mind. That is specifically for wings areas. Nope. Not what we're looking for then. Probably referring to a different teleport system involving Void Watch in particular. Let's see, the other options are... the Unity Warp. That should take us right there. To the other Sandoria, the other South Sandoria. Away we go! I forget. Don't look at your inventory until it fully loads in. Come on, load the inventory. Any moment now. Finish loading my inventory. Okay, I don't have... I was thinking maybe I had like an escape scroll on me. In which case there's a faster way to do it, but Unity Warp will also work. We're looking at content level 122. To Yotor Jungle. Huh. That's not... Oh, there we go. You had me concerned for a moment, game. Apparently we had a connection issue for half a second there. Apparently we did have connection issues for half a second. Grab our mount, and it says just head south. Through the winding trails that are not on the map of Yotor Jungle. Again, ignoring all the little bits that have been added, these circles and the lines and everything, this is actually a very terrible map. Because you've got all these little things, all these little connection points that just, let's be frank, would be really handy to have noted on a map. The thing that helps you navigate. Also, tonberries. Look at how diseased looking these tonberries are. Also, how they get away with calling this thing an anemone is beyond me. When that's clearly a Marlboro. Whatever. It is what it is. And there's the temple. Gotta be careful to not engage the tonberries, since, there's a special type of aggro and problems? Oh, how do we even get up there again? If I'm remembering correctly, I might just be able to cross the bridge. I remember having to do some type of weird side shenanigans to get in here last time. It's not that they can poison you, it's that they've got a weird aggro thing and it interacts with the temple itself. But you also had to kill them specifically to carry the flames in an unlit lantern, which they dropped.
Lord Ragnos, hold! We shall accompany you. The air is as frigid as ice, and I fear we are not alone. Then I shall go ahead and cleave a path for us. Lady Iroha, stay where you are. Advancing alone is pure folly.
And they both run off. And we've also lost access to Uran again. Because again, I don't play as often as the game seems to expect me to. It is also start of the new month, literally this month. Well, we're a week into May, so it probably reset in May. So that would make sense. That would in fact make sense. Although the monthly update is going to be happening shortly. Like, as of today. Later today, it's like 10 p.m. So we won't have to worry about that directly for us. Turn left at the initial stairs. Of course. Then left again. This place is littered with tonberries. Let me continue going. Okay, this should put us out in the temple. This should put us back out in Yotor, which apparently Yotor just has problems loading. Because, we still... There we go. Huh. Okay, I think we're in the right area. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly sure if we're in the right location or not. I think we're in the right location. But it wouldn't be the first time the written directions on the wiki have pointed me in a slightly weird direction. Anyway, these guys aggro on sight. Supposedly these tonberries and bees. And we're looking to go to J6. Okay, so up here. And I still think we're in the right area. Because it's saying stick to the left, which seems to be accurate. Hover tank and bees. Hover tank. These things are magical urns. But apparently those ones are called hover tanks because reasons. And if we stick to the left again... So many tonberries. And we should see a granite door. Yep, there it is. At J6. That was indeed correct. Never did I expect such bustle and commotion in such forgotten ruins as these.
By all that is holy, what manner of spirit is this?
Are you one of the forgotten races? Well, thou certainly dost bring the most curious conundrum.
A future wrapped in pure darkness.
And we desire the Kulu to share with us a method with which to meet with Altana.
Then thou must travel to a place that holds a grand crystal and traverse the boundaries that connect this realm to hers. Alas, only the dead are able to cross into the realm of spirits. Though perhaps the terrestrial avatars, blessed as they are with the crystals, can provide an alternative method. Ah, yes. Perhaps it has something to do with these strange feelings I have.
Feelings? What kind of feelings?
Surely this cometh as a surprise to thee, but by all rights I am already dead, yet have not returned to the crystal as I should. I can still feel the yearning, calling to me from beyond. Yes, way up in the sky, where one of my Kulu brothers weaveth incantations most grand.
Ah, Celtus.
Up in the sky.
You refer to Alto?
Yes, yet unlike me, he does not remain in this world for want of something to hold on to, and his name is Celtus. Ah, Celtus. Yes, it is all coming together. Thou art familiar with him. Then mayhaps I can skip the long-winded explanation. Yet one question remains. How canst thou meet him? I must reiterate that thou must first cross over via the crystal, and to do that would require one to guide thee.
I am at a loss.
The three of thee have faith in Altana, do ye not?
I do.
Of course, Master and I both believe in Altana.
As do I. Phoenix has shown me the light and continues to do so.
Then it shall be but a small task for thee to visit the crystal. Deep within the earth slumber 5 stones, each of which containeth an inordinate amount of power. 3 are located beneath the spires of Hola, Dem, and Mea.
I have laid eyes upon the objects of which you speak. I lighted upon one when I first descended from the future.
Then it only serveth to prove that thy bonds with the goddess are taut and firm. Perhaps they shall resonate with the crystals and provide the answers thou seekest.
Lady Graviton.
I'm not sure how you pronounce that, because normally that's a glottal stop.
Lady Graviton. Your guidance is greatly appreciated. I have shared with thee all I am privy to. The rest is for thee and thy companions to decide. Yet I cannot say what to expect, shouldst thou succeed. Ensure that thou remainest prepared for any eventuality.
Well, time to return to one of the Craigs. $26. Okay, so we did just pass the Zealot requirement. Teleportation assistance, Lathane, Etten Zuckelheim. Lothane is just my go-to location every time we need to go to one of the crags. I don't know why. Perhaps just easier for me to remember Lothane as being one of the locations. One of the great energy transference sites. The Zillert Belt. Well, the Craigs. The Great Craigs. Now, 10,000 years after they were built, kind of in many cases falling apart, especially the ones in the Beast Tribe controlled areas. I forget which particular Craig this is. Okay, this is Hala. I do always forget which particular one they are. Also, we shall never see this telepoint be anything other than shattered into pieces. They were once whole, but when they created Chains of Promethea, they broke them. For story reasons.
Master, what is this place? Over the... by the spirits. The whispers of the goddess come to me. No. Yet it's something from far in the future. Ragnios? Is that Ragnios' voice I hear? I am Celtis, a man who was to remain in Alto. Thus, I must ask, are you a dream? A vision? The threat of time are becoming most tangled with each passing day. The future is interfering with the past.
Would the time would be that time was the only victim. Nature, magic, spirit, all are converging into an increasingly inexorable knot.
And Diabolos? Is this dream you're doing?
Nay, the catalyst is Ragnios. But lest you be mistaken, this is not the Ragnios whom you know. It is one from a time beyond 884.
And as the threads begin to tangle, the order is spiraling into chaos?
He cometh from a future where the void hath enveloped all. The lot of you know not. Unfathomable. The void disrupteth the very nature of things. It is not merely causing things to cease to be, but rather cease to have ever been.
God. I was not expecting conversation between these two. I mean, they are terrestrial avatars, but oh god. Killing my throat already.
The power of
3 of them! Why, Atamos now?
the gods has started to. Atamos, your ramblings remain as incoherent as ever. Is there no one who can understand him?
Starting in the year 884, the power of the spirits and avatars of Anadiel began to be absorbed by a mysterious force.
Hello, Bellamore. We were wondering when you were gonna get involved. I still have no idea who or what you are.
But where are my manners? Dear audience, before you stands none other than Bellamore.
I could think of no stranger to be in our midst.
Wherever could there be our forces of darkness, you can bet I'll be there.
Light gathers with one. Darkness gathers with one.
Ah, that's my cue. The powers of light are slowly gathering in one direction, while those in darkness head elsewhere. Oh, but how I do love a good riddle. This is a sign of what's to come.
Rachnios desires to meet Altana. Sirens communions, the moon readings, But, were the natural order of things to falter, all would come to naught.
Then the situation demandeth we act swiftly and decisively. Siren doth intend to challenge the ambassador head on.
Odin, are you certain?
So now we got Fenrir involved. We have 1, 2, 3 of the terrestrial avatars. Technically, I think Odin counts as one. It's technically a dark deity, not one of the terrestrial avatars. Carbuncle refuses to be involved. Phoenix is in pieces. I don't think Siren counts as one of them.
Yet her victory is far from a foregone conclusion. His power doth stand on an even footing with their own. Will Siren fall under his thrall, or will she be utterly obliterated? In the end, the result does not matter. Rachnios will lose the protection of the goddess.
And Alto's demise will be all but engraved in stone.
What was that?
Your gathering here together makes my life much easier.
Thou art the ambassador. Then this dream is his? Such darkness is fated to. Atamos, you mean to say his presence in this time is an unavoidable destiny?
This is quite a fun game going on here. Did you see the looks on their faces? Oh, now I understand the mortal desire to pay good coin for such spectacles. I wonder what our little friend has to say about all of this. You can't. But if he does something terrible... Oh, Celtus! Surely there's no danger in any of this. The ambassador. That mask. Until my next performance, friends. Master!
Face down on the floor. I've never have I witnessed such a vivid vision. There were rice balls everywhere, dividing and multiplying. All around me was a sea of compacted rice, ever growing and all-consuming.
Now that's a completely different vision than what we had, Tenzin. That's unfortunate for you.
Lord Ragnos, what sort of experience did you have?
All of these are true. It was technically a story about Siren.
Siren being able to vanquish the ambassador? Never have I exchanged any words with Siren, but Phoenix often spoke to me about her, saying that she was an entity with dominion over nature.
Oh, she might be one of the terrestrial avatars.
Yet, no matter how grand and vast the power of nature be, she was manipulated by the ambassador once. Who can say that it cannot happen again?
Yes, that's the time we fought her and she was a pain in the butt.
And with all we have experienced, it's clear that the ambassador is not just one entity. There are 3 we have crossed paths with thus far. Who knows what the limit is? This leaves us with more questions than answers. Despite your meeting with Celtis, the ambassador got in the way and sowed yet more seeds of confusion.
Does he mean to call forth an endless void?
And ominous premonitions aside, we're no closer to meeting Altana than we were before.
You think the answer may lie somewhere with Siren?
I cannot fathom why. Perhaps there is some merit to it. But we are running out of places to turn. Upon further thought, if she intends to clash with the ambassador, then she may know something we do not. I propose we first return to Norg and gather our thoughts. Iraha, we shall meet with you there.
Off he runs again.
The ambassador. I must stop him.
Iraha, are you gonna do another... another harebrained scheme that's gonna end up with you dying again? Because here's the thing. We just came from Seekers, which had one of the most passively written heroines. And with Iraha, we have one who just seems to... I forgot to turn that off. Discord noises are not allowed. There. Discord noises have been muted. Who had one of the most passively and... one who didn't do anything? Heroines. And then we have Iraha. Literally the next one who just wants to do and will do something and end up getting killed several times. Just by merely existing. But she will, in fact, be very active in actually trying to solve things. Again, unlike Arciela, who just kind of needed to be there because bloodline. Technically, it's in... No, it's not in Tavnazia. Eshima Low. Always a couple of ways to get places. Still waiting on them to consolidate the warp system. Which, again, they've said they're doing, but it's, they still haven't done it yet. So it's time to go talk to our friend who we haven't talked to in several expansions. Again. Oh, those cough drops are a bit fragrant sometimes. They get into your nose and just kind of makes you go, whoo. Ah, Zaid.
Rachnius, why the dour look? Everyone's looking to you for guidance, so keep your chin up. Yo, Zaid. He isn't the only one. My head's been swimming with worry these past few days. It's about Esha, ain't it?
Oh, he was deeper. Zaid was deeper.
Zaid was this. Rachnios, I had one of my more trustworthy friends see what he could find.
The mystery grown deeper by the day.
He spent more days with Anesha.
He began to speak in tongues and happened upon knowledge that no one should have. It spooked a lot of us.
And speak of the devil. Etori Tutori, how fares your search?
You asked me to go to Esha Ruan. That's exactly what I did. I placed that one. The past hour and future are all garbled up.
I think I get it. It's a place where time doesn't exist.
What do you mean, doesn't exist? Our little friend Siren was going on about it. We can only hope that no more of those vortexes pop up. Hopefully Siren can figure out something.
Have you sought her out?
Nay. She's off to fight the ambassador, so hopefully she'll give him some comeuppance. This kooky samurai fellow was ranting on and on about seeing Siren at Misero Coast. That's more than just a passing oddity-woddity. 2 of these biddies?
2 biddies.
Oh, perhaps biddies was too harsh a term for one with such feminine wiles.
That's not quite what I was getting at. If there were 2, wouldn't it stand to reason there's another anomaly caused by the darkness?
Who knows? It's possible my eyes were playing tricks on me.
Anything's possible, given what we know of Esha so far.
And speaking of Esha, we can head there again for that new vortex. Esha, Ruan. I've heard tale of another masked individual that's been coming and going from there. You know, Tenten and Iraha, they hear about something remotely dangerous and run off to fight it faster than a chocobo chasing Gishel greens. And knowing you'll be right on their heels. Just promise you'll come back if things get out of hand.
I gotta agree with the man. Doesn't take a seer to read the ill omens there. Whole damn place is silent as death itself.
All the more reason for heroes like me to save what needs saving.
And now that he's gone, Gilgamesh, just who is he?
Just a man with special connections to the Tenshudo. Might be a bit plump round the stomach, but ain't an adventurer in the world who hasn't, or isn't gonna, cross paths with him.
If you say we can trust him, then I have no cause for doubt. Let's head to Escher.
Well, off to Mizro Coast yet again. Those two are still over there. That's still unusual. Ah, there she is. Remember when I was talking about how Iraha's mother is a ninja? This is her. It's heavily implied that this is her. I forget her name, but she'll probably have some words to say.
Ah, Lord Rachnios, what impeccable timing. According to
Kagero, that's her name.
Lady Iraha is on the verge of making a decision. Whenever a woman from the Far East comes to a life-altering fork on the road, she undergoes a purification ritual. I've witnessed Lady Iraha undertaking such a ritual. She's prone to wear her heart on her sleeve, so her intentions are more than clear. She is so single-mindedly concerned about her not being a burden that she intends to lend her blade to Sidon's struggle against the ambassador. And so she went into the vortex, to Escher, before we could stop her. And we must follow with all due haste.
Once again, dives in a bit head first.
Off we go.
Now, I will say, because of the graphical mod I have in place, Escher now has color. When we first came here, there was no color. It is supposed to not have color. Everything is supposed to be in black and white.
Siren, where is Lady Iraha?
Ah, yes. The cute one. I sent you of a special bond with her. Then heed well my words. When I was under the ambassador's thrall, I opened up many special rifts, though it pains me to admit it. One such rift is the location which unfolds before you now. Ruan is said to be a place close to the gods, so it's no wonder he wishes to strike here. A cloud of nothingness descending upon it from a different dimension created this land, devoid of all time and color. It passed through the crystal, devouring all in its wake. Yet, what did Altana do to stop it? Nothing. He was entirely aware of this truth. It is the destiny that Vanadiel is fated to face.
The tide can no longer be stemmed. Altana is alone, having lost her counterpart, and is wholly powerless.
We do not intend to fold, even if Altana cannot help us. All we need is light to guide us, no matter how dim it may be.
Such words encourage me to entrust what I can to you.
Siren, your understanding and compassion are beyond compare. All the Prime Avatars can understand our words and thoughts, and will not deny us our due.
I shall show you how to meet Altana. But to do so, you must first banish the emptiness surrounding Resenjima. And the only one who can aid you in that task is Celtis. I shall grant you the ability to traverse the mists to where Celtis resides.
To think you would do such a thing for us.
Never forget your charge, even should Iroha and I fade from this world.
Fade? Why fade?
Your friend did bid me to buy some time, yet I fear I cannot hold out any longer. Go.
Buy time?
She explicitly expressed that she does not desire to see you. That which wishes to defile the cycle of nature is trying to extinguish itself, and we will do our utmost to see it succeeds. You would do best to remain ignorant of the particulars. Now go.
Lord Rachnios, matters not what Siren says. We cannot turn back now. What we seek lies further within. Esha. A place with lots of things that will try and murder me. And they're just strong enough to where that could be a possibility. It is time to load up all the trusts and possibly get into a little bit of combat on our way to our location. For one cannot mount in this area. So up the ramp and take a left. Ah. Right here. Trusts were unnecessary. Oh! Both sirens from both times.
Where one may falter, two can succeed. Siren Prime. May my words ring clear and true. I pledge myself to ending this threat. I am a being of the future, and do not belong in this world. Nor does the ambassador. May your forces intertwine and banish the two of us who are not supposed to be here. Two. Nay, there are three. When this communion has been undertaken, the fate of this age shall lie in the hands of all those who call it home. Phoenix, when I am gone, Scatter my essence to the skies, that I might soar with you. A communion is a pact with nature, a declaration of how one feels things ought to be. Open your heart. Let your emotions ride free.
That's a geomancy bell.
As if your life depends on it. Obey the order of nature and cast away the chaos. Those who have entrusted themselves to death shall find their release. Those who have descended from the future, be gone! Master, our time is at an end.
Heh. Tenzin. Oh, she is very not happy.
Why? Why must you try and stop me?
Lady Iroha, you throw your life away without purpose. It is a gift to be cherished, not squandered.
Sir Tenzin, Master, I'm not the one who fails to comprehend the meaning of my life. None of you could possibly grasp the horror of the future I've seen. The future I have lived. I refuse to be riddled with guilt knowing that I could have done more to stop the evil from coming to pass. If I must be sacrificed that the world may be cleansed, that is my sacred duty. Lady Iraha, none know your struggle more than I. I too have pledged myself to give up my life when the time comes, but I do so only to protect my master. What of Sir Rachnios? If you truly call him master, to throwing your life away here would be akin to stomping over the bonds you two share. I cannot fathom an end more revolting. Iraha, perhaps she is correct. You are here in the year 884, having already formed strong bonds with those around you. If any can overcome the natural order, it is Altana herself. And she has infused with you with a bit of her grace. Rachnios, Tenzin, Kagero. We've done all we can. The rest is up to you. Our ethereal chains may contain him, but the binds are about to snap. Act quickly!
Not so fast.
My friends. Ooh. I'm gonna take our little ambassador friend on a tour of my embassy. Do you want him back, Rachnios?
How can we go about doing that?
Who cares? I don't think you'd enjoy playing with him anyway. Ta-ta for now!
What just happened? Lord Rachnios, he knew your name. Why would you be acquainted with so foul a creature?
The dream was Celtus. He was there.
Lady Iroha. The two of us shall take Iroha somewhere where she can recuperate. Here, you will have need of this. This is a Siren's plume, bestowed upon us by Siren. Meet with Celtus in our stead, please. Not only did we gain that, we reached a milestone in Rhapsodies and acquired Rhapsodies in Emerald, which gives you a 30% experience boost and limit point gain, so boost 30% gain. And additional items will now be sold by that vendor we bought things from. You know, the food from. He will now sell antacids, holy waters, and re-razors. High re-razors in particular. So that gives us 2 razors we can just, re-reses we can just buy. Also gives us a couple of ammo types we could buy. Some ninjutsu tools, which are a great way of storing ninjutsu because they're, of course, items. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, that's all he sells. Now that that's been done. So, someone summoned a Shantoto, and it just killed something. So back we go to the Crag of Hala to try and talk with Celtus. See where that takes us. So back to the book teleport. To climb the Fane. Let's see, we're currently at mission 32. I think we'll go till either the end of chapter 2 here, which will be not too far. A reminder, there's only 41. Yeah, there's 41 missions, and we're currently on 32. And we were at 19, I think it was. So we've already made significant progress. Or until my voice feels like it can't handle the voices anymore. Because I was not expecting so many deep-voiced individuals to all show up. Don't know why. I mean, I should have expected it. It contains all the characters. Well, most of them in some way, shape, or form. A resonance between Siren's plume and the crystal creates a crescendo. Reaches a crescendo.
The celestial capital of Alto welcomes you. Would that it would do so with open arms, but a vortex slowly eats away at my home. The capital's not the only thing to succumb. I too feel my energy beginning to fade.
Celtus in his true post-Keeper of the Apocalypse form.
You needn't offer me any explanation. I've already heard that Siren's benevolence has guided you here. You and Iroha have sought guidance from companions all throughout Vanadiel in order to stop the encroaching darkness. In Iroha's future, there was an event called the Reckoning, in which you made a decision that rang throughout the land. As a result, Iroha was left alone, confined to Resenjima. A future in which Iroha was the only child of Altana left in Vanadiel. And so you wish to beseech Altana herself for guidance, for any hint on how this bleak future can be altered? Alto is oft referred to as the Celestial Capital because it has a much stronger connection with Altana than anywhere on the ground below. And I am able to commune with the terrestrial avatars and pass through the veil separating this world from the next via the crystal. Yet even I do not possess the means to reach Altana herself. Even the most powerful forces in the lands, forces which can create whole worlds, cannot approach her. Not even Odin. No, such a feat requires more than anyone could hope to muster. A power so great, it could make the 5 crystals whole once more. Yet, did future Siren not mention that a key may lie in Resenjima? I find no cause to doubt her, particularly in light of what I've discovered. What if we could create a crystal that could banish the emptiness? Rachnios, you've traversed the cavernous maws, so I need not remind you that you visited worlds other than our own. These worlds exist in parallel, yet each has its own past, present, and future. Tartarus, a place known by a select few in eastern Ubuka, is one such world. Countless years have I spent ensuring balance between these worlds, that they may never interfere with each other. From each I've drawn but a small fraction of crystal energy, and I've accumulated enough light to create another towering mother crystal for Vanadiel. It is precisely as I have said. I've undertaken this plan since long before Iroha arrived here in this era. This plan is to create a new crystal in Resenjima. Resenjima, the holy fruit of the Far East, the holy land of the Far East, and create a safe haven from darkness. A plan, I add, that requires an inordinate amount of time to bring to fruition. Iroha's presence or absence makes no difference. The result would be the same. Rachnios, what if I said if what I've said overlaps with anything Siren told you, then you may have found another piece of the puzzle. But what is this reckoning Iroha speaks of? I do not know. You are a warrior of the crystal, and are destined to become the warrior of light. You will coalesce 3,000 of points of light into a single shining star. Your radiance cast out the darkness, and you shall become more than a mere warrior. Master, all the grand adventures you've embarked on led you here. You have guided us all to the final struggle against an unthinkable future. You have already banished the darkness that lies within you, and have but to fill yourself with sacred light. Even in the most trying of times, there's one future that humanity does not abandon: hope. It is your calling to keep that hope alive. Iraha is the only one who can aid you in making your final decision. And there's one more thing. I would have you aid me should you feel that my plan is the proper course of action. All I've worked to collect these many years is slowly being absorbed into a world known as Tartarus. One born of that land has caught wind of my plan and seeks to undermine it.
Oh, right, Tartarus. That's where Hades was from. That's where Balamor and the other... what's the Triumvirate? I can't remember the specific title, but the Triumvirate came from. They all came from Tartarus.
Seek out the one whose dominion over magic is absolute. Please, I beg you.
A dominion over magic. One whose dominion is over magic. There's a couple of people who fit that bill. Ironically, or not ironically, Shantoto almost fills that bill. Almost. Because I'm thinking back, and this was a long time ago, back when we were doing limit breaks to get our level up. Because of course you have to do those after like 5 levels. And I'm not 5, but it felt like 5. Matt, the guy we had to do a bunch of stuff for, he eventually summoned a little Taru. And if I'm remembering correctly, he was the one who called himself a brown mage. And then they made a bunch of fart jokes because they are 12. But that was the little Taru who interrupted our little discussion with Gilgamesh and Zaid. I think. He looked very similar. And since Matt is clearly, like, despite being in his 60s and 70s, somewhere in there, like, Matt is an old man. That was not where I wanted to go, but this is where I told the game to put me. I was wondering why it was taking a long time. I wanted to go to Norg. My bad. Not the jungle. Take me to Norg. Given Matt is the strongest physical entity on the planet, like he most clearly is, possibly the little Taru is the master of magic. Or it could be talking about Shantoto. Like, it could actually be talking about Shantoto. I don't know. Or it could, and this is just a thought, be talking about Carbuncle. Because most of the terrestrial avatars have their dominions. Fenrir, cold, ice. Diabolos is sleep. Siren is nature. Phoenix would be fire if she wasn't in pieces. Well, fire and life, obviously. Carbuncle just kind of is magic and keeps himself very small and confined.
Yo! Rachnios, guess who made it?
Of course, Precious here. Why would she not be?
Gilgamesh filled me in with what happened after the whole Irahan Juno thing. Going over every last detail would kind of kill my voice. Would have kind of killed my voice. But I made sure to cover the important parts. I gotta admit, she did a great job of watching over Iraha. Iraha's a real trooper. Gotta admire her spunk.
Ah, Lord Rachnios. Good to see you looking well. I trust you successfully met with Celtis.
Oh god, it's been completed.
A new crystal to be born in Reisenjima. Ah, finally, a light to pierce the clouds.
Well, there is always the option of, I believe I have my DMs open on, I believe you can always message me on YouTube. That is a thing, or it used to be a thing. Yeah, that is true.
Well, Tenzin, you'll be needing to pack a wallop, won't ya? Sure, you might have stopped the emptiness, but there's still a bit more darkness to smack around.
Long had I thought it'd be years before things returned to normal. But Celtis Crystal is a grand step in a positive direction.
But, Sir Tenzin, something still vexes me. If I remember correctly, the crystal does not appear now, but rather several years hence. If the crystal were to manifest now, then the future would be irrevocably altered.
But is that not exactly what we desire?
So the crystal appears a few hours earlier. What's the big deal? Perhaps. Yet even though the crystal is there in my time, the all-encroaching darkness still claims victory.
The crystal alone is not enough to save us.
That is true. That he does. I'm assuming you have Noel's, at least, sword showing that he wants to really get at Kazinsi.
No matter how we bash our heads against the problem, we can't find a good solution. I'll be damned if we aren't overlooking something. What's causing the emptiness?
Lady Prish, please continue to hunt for clues.
Of course I will. Master, please proffer your opinion on Celtis' crystal plan.
I'll do anything to meet with Altana.
If it means solving the problem in the Far East, then I'm all for it.
I can't keep Gilgamesh's voice the same.
And it's good for business, too.
So let's summarize, then. Iraha's opposed to Celtis' plan,
Opposed may be too strong a word. I would simply implore us to proceed with utmost caution. I believe we can trust Siren when she says the crystal in the Far East was intimately connected with this problem.
We must banish the emptiness surrounding Reisenjima to have any hope of meeting Altana. That must be the reason why Siren gave us the plume.
And the orb I entrusted to Master remains pivotal. It is a priceless artifact of the Reisenjima Sanctorum that ties the bearer with the Mother Crystal.
None are lost when they follow its guidance. We would not brashly rush into an uncertain decision, but instead wait for a sign.
Well, Rachnios, if you agree, then we've got to take a different approach. Namely, find out more about that beastie that's stealing the crystal's power. And if Celtis wants us to find someone with an absolute dominion over magic, then there's only one person I can think of.
That old witch Shantoto.
Of course it's Shantoto. Not sure if bringing Iraha along's the best idea.
And why would that be?
If you found out you're from the future, she'd poke, prod, and quite possibly vivisect you. Lord Rachnios, we have our next destination, Windhurst Walls.
Bring me a present.
Could it be that the one trying to steal the crystal's energy is not the ambassador, but...
Yes. I may or may not have immediate answers. Actually, I'm not certain. I don't think I've ever gotten one, so I'm not even sure if that's still a thing on YouTube or not. I'm not gonna lie. I remember that was a thing, but that might have been years ago, and they might have removed the ability to do direct DMs on YouTube. Honestly, I was looking for the settings, because you'd think they would have settings somewhere. Yeah, I didn't think... Yeah, it's entirely possible that that's not. In which case... Okay, you posted it on a Discord. Yeah, I'm not sure if you posted... let me... Because I don't think I have... let me see... Give me just a second. Oh, I forgot I had those. All right, let's see. Okay, you can probably try. I was gonna say, I just enabled link review on the moderation, which should theoretically send it to me so I can at least view it. So theoretically, you could post it. It won't show up in chat necessarily, but it should show up for me somewhere. Maybe. Ah! I'm seeing other things in here. Okay, that makes sense. That's up to you. You could send me both, and I'll have a look. I mean, where were we? Right, we need to go see Chantoto. She's in Windhurst Walls. Send her. Walls, home point 3. Hmm. I see the last of it. Let me see. I'm still trying to figure out this whole moderation thing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm only seeing the one bit of it that's clearly not a link. I know there's a way to to review these, and I'm not seeing immediately how. Oh, there we go. Held. No held comments. Oh, I can see that. I can see you saying, can you see this? But that's... Right. And if you don't include the HTTP or any www, I should be able to find it. So that's not a problem. And it should avoid the link detection, I think. I'm not sure. Because I'm not seeing anything directly about held comments. It appears it did in fact catch everything. What I can I'm not sure I want to do that, but I can... Yeah, it seems to be catching everything, and I've got no idea how to do anything else. Yeah, it seems that the YouTube filter is even very much a bit strong even on that. It is finding everything. We may just be forever out of the loop on that one, it would seem. I mean, it's fine. I can imagine. I've got a pretty good imagination when it comes to that type of thing. Because I'm not sure how much, because based on what you've told me about it, some of it may violate certain image holding sites desires to, what's the right term for it? Terms and conditions. So yeah, I'm not sure either. Hello, Shantoto.
Another adventurer comes to invade my domain. Please stand over there and stop playing dumb games. For your sake, I hope you aren't such a bore. I'm getting quite tired of cleaning blood off the floor. You have a girl from the future that has come to the past. I've seen this play be out before. Trust me, it won't last. Please, I beg of you to calm down.
Dr. Shantoto, your laboratory smells quite lovely.
Why would that splendorimo aroma from the splendor?
Good lord, Taru.
Why, that would be the splendarino aroma from this jar. It's been 14 years since I combined a splendidly winded blend of herbs and spices, all sealed tight in this jar until right now, when... Hush! The recipe's supposed to be a secret, Weethy. The two of you can sit here and argue for hours, but there are those in duress who have need of our powers. Though your orb is quite fascinating and has me perplexed, and your friend from the east I would love to dissect, there are more pressing matters to which we must attend. The issue of Celtus, to whose will the crystal shall bend. This world of yours, Tartarus, it has me intrigued. Please, Shantoto, help us! I can hear you plead. Now wait a minute. Why haven't I heard Ethy of this Tartarus? Do you, Ranaran? Of course I know of this world. They want to know more, with details unfurled. How do you know of it? Vanadiel is but one of countless dimensions. Though blessed by Altana, I must dutifully mention. Up until now, I couldn't prove its existence, but help them I shall, if they need my assistance.
The name by itself is a cause for alarm, and doubtless there are monsters who wish to cause harm.
Diddly-doo! The universe is such a big place!
Kodomaru, you act as if you're wholly disconnected, but how soon you forget that monstrosity you've erected. You're always involved in some monkey business, and to a more sorry sight I've never borne witness.
What did you do this time? I made a one diddly wonderful contraption, or so I thought. Turned out to be one of my biggest mistakes in recent memory. The world is full of all manner of terrible creatures, and I weep for a land that never knows peace. You know what I mean. You're an adventurino. But the forces of light and dark must always be in balance, and one never wins out for very long. So if some diddly-widdly darkness appears somewhere, then there must be some way to Seekerino it out. And you want to use that thing, Ethy, of yours, to find the evil they're on the lookout for? Just think diddly about it. What hero wouldn't want to get their hands on something that could seek out evil before it strikes? Though I had intended to use it to root out cheating student Terinos. But it did strange diddly. But did the strange diddly inks just the thing? When I brought it to life, it pointed in a really weird direction. And so, when he brought it to me with a look of concern, I found what you call Tartarus, and much did I learn. Thus I present to you, without further ado, his deranged contraption, with purpose anew.
It's the doll. This doll has already seen 2 other uses, and now we have it a 3rd time. I wondered where they got the model from.
The very thought of this is enough to give pause, but I think it can help you, with all its flaws. I agree, Ethy. If it points to a large upswells of magic, Ethy, that might help you find the place where the energy of the crystals is being drained to. And if the crystals were to fade, Ethy, well, I need hardly spell out what that means.
Though since Kodomaru made it, I'd be remiss to assume that it would work without failure and not spell your doom. And if such a thing happens, I shall not feign surprise, for it wouldn't be the first time he's caused someone's demise.
Dr. Shantoro, please.
Wait, it's pointing a Reno towards Miserable Coast. But of course, it only makes sense. There's a vortex over there. How could I be so dense?
There have been warnings, Ethy, about Esha all throughout the 3 nations. I'd be extra careful. So, haul diddly doll tail.
So, I guess we go back to Miserable Coast again. Where's that auction house crystal at? There it is. Promathia, Miserable Coast.
Oh, goodness. Well, if this is certainly something else. Hey, Najee, take a load of this. I've seen some stuff in my time, but this is wholly unnatural. Don't get in over your head, my little adventurer buddy. We haven't quite finished up our survey here, but one thing's clear. The longer you stay in this Escher place, the more your spirit slips away. As if that's bad enough, you also lose all sense of time. That's why we make sure to keep someone posted at the entrance.
The chief is convinced that this is because the power of the crystals is being drained. The only reason magic can be used inside is that the entries of the Misero coast are seeping in too.
You couldn't pay me enough to jump into that vortex over there.
A vortex?
Have you got a better word for it? It sucks up the energy and swirls round and round. If that's not vortex, then I don't know what is.
You going in?
You going in? I suppose we can't stop you, but don't be getting yourself killed. Now we're gonna have to not wander. Now we have to go specific places in Escher. Technically, I believe this is called more of a... Yeah, there's a specific thing we have to do. Grabbed a clump of droplets from right over there. There are 14 locations. Now, I am unfamiliar with the specific layouts of Escher. Much less its enemies. But they're not going to be that tough. If they're even aggressive, which they may or may not be. Oh, they are indeed aggressive. They are indeed aggressive. Which is unfortunate, but such is the case. The Eschen portal. I may have gone too far. Oh, they literally talk to the Eschen portal, this one. I see.
Use the one in front of the door, not the teleporter. And then we go to the back to find the second portal. I mean, literally, it's just going to take us around, although we get to go to... We end up on 15. I was wondering how you actually made it to these other platforms. They actually incorporated exploration of this area into the story. Interesting. Oh god. Hello, boys. Hello, absolute justice or absolute virtue without his spear. Okay. Across the bridge between two large pillars, the two large pillars on the left, and hello, the alien-looking things. That's one thing I can say about 11, and specifically about the creatures from, like, Alto and things like that. They exist above and below the standard plane the player walks on. You don't see that very often. Ah, I see. I could have theoretically done this at any time if the game had actually, if the wiki had let me know, or if I investigated. This is not something that has to be done in the story, but seems thematic to have done it, waited until now to do it. Walk past and underneath the second staircase. On the bridge with the closed door. Now, granted, this is not the only way to do this. In theory, if you wanted to, you could be just going back and forth between that first question mark point and the first warp point there. You'd just be warping back and forth, continually grabbing it. That might actually be faster to do so. But this gets us a general overview of what it looks like. Directly left of the second bridge. Granted, this is just what's called sky. Oh god, what have I attracted? Oh, it's the Yorva. That's the big thing. The big jellyfish-like thing. And let me guess, at the end of the only path. Oh, there wasn't anything in front of the teleporter then. Number 9. We're a little over halfway in the process. Both sets of stairs, then turn left. On the bright side, at least most of these enemies appear non-hostile. So that's good. It makes navigating a little bit easier. We do have the fast pants on. Not that that helps a lot, mind you. It's only, what, 12% faster? It's not that fast. Hello? Hello? They're just curious, I guess. I was not expecting suddenly to have 4 of them on my tail like that for non-aggressive reasons. Like, they are not attacking. Huh. I would not have expected that behavior at all from a mob in a video game. That is almost very animal-like. Huh. Okay, stay away from the floating guy in the sky. He's aggressive. Nothing else seems to be. And the wiki even has this nice little aggro chart for the enemies. Although it doesn't seem to cover them? Oh no, no. Yeah, that's the Hessian Hempide. Permends. They will not attack you, but they are, in fact... They do detect by sound. Huh. End of the only path. A lot of these enemies are aggressive at night, so it's a good thing we came kind of midday. And number 12. Now this one says to sneak up. That generally means silent powder. Possibly some prism as well. Ah, that would be because of plants. The aggressive plants are... They have an open and closed state, and they're only aggressive when they're open. And they are sound-based, so... There it is. There are plenty of question mark targets, and I don't know what they're all for. We're almost there. That was 12 of 15. And once we hit 15, I think we'll be definitely fine. They're open again. Should be fine. Sound-based sneak. Ashen Portal 13, here we go! And 13 across the first bridge, next to the first large pillar on the left. Once again, slightly baffled by the complete and utter non-aggressiveness of everything in here. But I'm fine with that. And, of course, the last of the at the end of the only path. I.e., not the teleporter, the one in front of the door. Again, this information could have been useful, like on the Esha Ruan page, but is it there? No. No, of course not. Why would it not be?
Oh me, oh my! Why would you come here to bother me? Surely I'm no use to you now.
We're looking for him.
Ah, your masked friend. I tied him up on the other side of the vortex. You know, at first I thought he might have been a pretender, but he's really been quite useful. When I told him I sought astral forces, he up and created his lovely little swirly thing for me. And not that I think it didn't take some
Not that it didn't take a little convincing.
So you're the dread fiend Bellamore.
Oh, Saltus! What a grand pleasure it is! I've saved a seat in the front row just for you.
But if you already know what my grand plan is, then surely you don't need a playbill. A bit ironic, wouldn't you say? Lest you forget, it was you who stole energy from Tartarus. And I'm taking back what's mine, perhaps a little more, to create the most spectacular stages. Stage? That's right, a world of my own making. Vendiel isn't the only world I've been to. This energy's a gift from the gods to make a god. I'm sick of reading parts that have been given to me by others, so I've decided to draft my own narrative. The authors from these worlds have all one thing in common. They conjure up lakes, rivers, fashion, sentient beings, dictate laws by which they abide, and then one day they up and abandon their creations. Let's just say I'm a bit disgusted by all the chaos they've left in their wake. You don't need to have been traveled to different worlds to know I'm right. Look at your Vanadiel. Emptiness this, all-consuming void that. It's halfway between tragedy and a comedy of errors. This world isn't a playground for the gods. This world isn't just a playground for the gods. And that's another contributing factor how vague life is here. One man's justice is another man's evil. No, my world will be much simpler. Where there's only one path, no one gets lost. He who seizes the power of the crystals has the right and providence to rule. Oh. A more grand form, eh, Bellamore? This fiend is beyond all reason. Rachnios, keep him busy. In the meantime, I'll seal off that conduit. Of course. Oh, where is he? I cannot target him. There he is. Let's put down swordplay. Meditate. Haseo. Oh, he is in fact dealing quite a bit of damage. But he is almost dead. Oh, that was quite a bit of damage to the trusts. Defeated. How could I lose? No, 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 no! Y'all fools. Don't you think of the past or the future, only the present. So with that tit for tat, the first thing you turn to is the sword. What does that mean? Look toward the future, here I stand, poised to create a new world while yours is going to fall into nothingness. Don't you think it's foolish to stop me? But let's verbally spar a while longer, hmm? With him at my side, I could have created the world from the void. If he joined with me, much like he did with Siren, he would have been able to live forever.
but humanity is far too weak. What's that now? Speak up.
The fool is you! Though a world may stumble and falter, I won't let you use it as your plaything! Begone, vile demon! Well, that's one way to seal off the portals.
We did it. We protected the crystals.
And now, it's time for a new one.
Rachnios, bring Iraha to Alto.
And we actually received, believe it or not, the alter ego for Balamor. We could summon him to fight with him at our side. I mean, there's no reason to do that, mind you. We now have full access to all of Rouen. Well, with nothing else to do, and with summons from Celtus, I suppose we need to go grab Iroha and bring her with. And see how this changes the future. Because Iroha is correct. That would change the future, which we don't know what the results would be. And for some reason that frightens her. I mean, as it should. Though we do have the question of what the ambassador was doing when Balamor was just doing his thing. Balamor is nothing if not a very good puppet. One whose strings like to be pulled as much as they protest much. We saw that in Adeline. We did. We still didn't learn much about him at all.
Master, the butterflies in my stomach have calmed down knowing that you were all right. What a horrifying tale.
So this Balamor was trying to create a world for him and him alone? And if he was using the ambassador to do just that? I can't decide if he's a monster, or a master, or a moron.
I can recall that the master told me stories about how he came across Balamor in his adventures throughout eastern Ulbuka.
Yes, Adeline.
There may yet be another aspect of history that I've changed by coming here.
And now the important question. Rachnios, what of the ambassador? He might have gotten away.
Should that be the case, he may make another attempt on your life, Master.
I hope we can get that orb filled with light in time. In any event, there's no need for the two of you to be brash. If Celtus called you Alto, that's where you should be probably going.
I concur. Master, let us head for the Mother Crystal. I shall meet you there.
So that means back to Hala. Or any of the other Craigs. Up, and away! And we are just 3 quests away from the completion of Chapter 2 in Rhapsodies. Which honestly suggests we might be done with Final Fantasy XI as early as next week. Which, honestly, as good as it has been, and has been rather interesting to play 11 and see the story through it all, it had its down points, it had its up points. But I'm glad to be finally moving on. And we'll be doing some things. Like my initial plans, we'll probably do like some Mega Man Legacy Collection streams and then move on to Turok 3. Like we'll probably play like Mega Man 1 and 2, maybe even 3 and 4, maybe even all the way up to 5 and whatever's all in the Legacy Collection. I think it's at least 5 if not 6. I can't remember how many are in there. But we'll probably play through Legacy Collection. And then we'll play some Turok 3. Which should hopefully get us through, hopefully, to Spooktober, I think. Or closer. Will at least be, hopefully, August by then. The dimensional portal. That's not an... Okay. It's at K9. So different one, not the telepoints. One at K9. Oh, one of these. I was wondering what these were. Although I never come around to this side of the crag, so I didn't even know this was a thing.
Ah, Master. Excellent timing. Come to the world of the gods.
Fortunately, I don't think any of these characters I gave a deep voice to, so my throat should be fine.
Is this the world of the gods? Not completely. Humanity is still permitted to traverse this section.
Ah, Celtis.
That's why you two are able to maintain your corporeal forms. Sir Celtis, in the age you hail from, there's a large crystal in the Resengima Sanctorum. That would be the result of the very plan you're putting into action, would it not?
Of that I'm certain. Iraha, the time for the ritual is at hand.
There's something I would ask first. I can recall bits and pieces of what my father and master used to tell me about this crystal. I stood barely knee-high to them and was unable to fully comprehend the gravity of the situation. Yet now I do. You're intending to become one with the crystal.
I am. I will become the crystal itself.
I feared as much.
I could gather energy from countless crystals across aeons and aeons, but even that would not be enough. Mother crystals are living, breathing things. Much like we are. Magic is their blood, their very heartbeat. They are not simple shards of rock. I must become one with the crystal for this plan to come to fruition. 10,000 years ago, there was another who made a similar ritual in Tulia. Yet he made a critical error in his haste, and expired before reaching his goal. However, in this place, I know I can succeed. Rachnios, my previous actions have caused you to pay a terrible price. It should have fallen to me to protect the Far East.
Master, Sir Celtis, is this truly what you desire?
It is. But my story does not end here. Though I will become part of the crystal, my mind and spirit shall remain whole. Could you not feel my presence when you offered up prayers at the Resengima Sanctorum?
Yes, I did. And when you and Master spoke about the crystal, they were speaking to you.
It is time. May light ever shine on the Far East, on the future. And off he goes.
I often cursed my luck at having arrived in 884 rather than the time I'd hoped. But bearing witness to this event fills me with reverence and awe. Should be as the books foretold, the emptiness surrounding the Far East will begin to dissipate, starting with Resengima. Master, when my father entreated you to come to the Far East, you vanquished all manner of malicious spirits and demons, won the hearts of people, and worked to reconstruct my land. And when I came into the world, you stayed with me in Resengima. Though I never was the best pupil, you led me on the path of the warrior, and tempered my often willful spirit. Though I at last know why those several years were valuable to me.
Oh, hello. He's a Golka now. And once those years pass, I will be given form. I'm a Golka now. I'm a Taru now. Elvan. Hume. Not Makote. Mithra. I am Rachnios. I am the future you. You created me, a stronger you, that we might claim victory against the darkness. I was born.
No. I held out hope that this would not... Please, awaken me from this nightmare! If you're truly what a master is to become, then you must work with us, not against us. Cast down your weapon and return.
The reckoning. The reckoning!
And here we are. The BCNM for this chapter. Both paths taken. Unlike most fights with allied NPCs, because Iraha is deathless, she can just die and come back multiple times, which makes this fight, if you can survive it, exceedingly simple. Engage the disjointed one. He does have a good amount of health. Iraha does not appear to want to skill chain with us. So we should just focus on Ayame's skill chains. Or would if Iraha wouldn't interrupt them at every point she could. Goodness gracious.
Master! Master, the future needs you. I need you. Please, don't. Please don't go.
The hands of the clock turn back, only to stride forward once more. To think we were to meet in a place beyond time. Meet Altana. There are many questions still left unanswered, but I suppose we should meet back up with the usual crew of Gilgamesh. See if anyone else wants to show up there. And then figure out what happened to Iraha, because as far as we're aware, she is still in the plane. Is the world really doomed? Has it been doomed this entire time? And everything we've been doing in all the expansions has only been to delay the inevitable? I hope not, but one never knows. And we'll certainly not find out today. To Norg! Norgbound!
Rachnios! Rachnios!
I knew it'd take more than that to get my old pal down.
Nashmira, what are you doing out here?
Do you remember what happened, right? Over in Alto, you crossed swords with the ambassador and he left you nothing but a corpse. So I heard. Not like I was there to see the whole thing. Vandiel's a strange place. Ira came to me in my dreams and told me what happened. She tried to call upon Phoenix's power so that you'd return to us. She said your body started to disappear into the void. At first I thought it was a bunch of malarkey, but holy mackerel, if you ain't standing here before us right now.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
I understand the feeling. But I says to myself, Gilgamesh, ain't no way he's gonna kick the bucket like that. So I went out and searched for you. That's when I up and sent you that letter, Nashmira. And it came as such a shock. I pulled some strings and had Uvgang shoo some people away with vague excuses so that I could rush over here. I'm so glad I did. So let me tell you, no one's happier than me.
Hey, one of us gotta up and tell Iroha. Where'd you go anyway?
I wish I knew. In my dream, she was in front of the crystal, surrounded with this strange glow. The only conclusion I came to is that it's got something to do with the resin gemma. But with all the emptiness in the eastern seas, there's no way we can get there.
I got Zayd and the Tenshudo making inquiries, seeing if Iroha might be somewhere in the other continents.
Don't look so glum. Now that you're with us, the future's brighter than ever.
Really think so, Pops? There's nothing we can't do if we work together.
Rachnios, make sure to come scurrying back if you hear anything.
And with that, we've received the second key item, Rhapsodies key item, for today. Mauve. This one gives a lot more things than just some skill gains and some items. It does unlock a bunch, like a lot of items. A lot of items at the Moogle there. Like a lot of items. Especially in the equipment. Umber's the next, is the, I believe Umber's the next one. Umber was early on. Fuchsia's the next one. Huh. Fuchsia and Crimson, which are the next. Huh, these are kind of these are definitely listed out of order. Because Crimson's an early one. Well, whatever. There's only 3 more key Rhapsody items left. But anyway, as I was saying, on top of the standard items in the Moogle shop getting unlocked, and a skill point and limit point increase, 30%, you also get a 30% bonus to Unity accolades. In Void Watch, there's a bunch of reductions in like your timers and things like that. Legion, prices of pages has been reduced. There's some Abyssa things. Abyssa time got extended. Some campaign things. Meebles basically lets you forever do the Meebles. Maze Mongers reduced. Just a lot of very nice things. But with no idea where Iroha is, I guess we go home.
Despite betrayal by those I once called my own, I refuse to yield until humanity's blight is purged from this land. I now serve to bring darkness unending, an umbral shroud choking the life from Vanadiel.
Well, Shadow Lord, you're back. Simply opening the gate of the gods would bring the Zillert what they've been denied for over 10,000 years. The endless nightmare would be endless no longer.
Have you ever paused to consider exactly whose nightmare it is? Those who have ceased to be? Those who walk Vanadiel as she stands today? Old gods? New? No. It's a nightmare of the crystals themselves. We were born in Vanadiel and exist only due to her endless bounty. And yet our very presence here is affront to her. We are the source of our nightmare. There's one secret to humanity's success. Ambition. Imagining a better future, it strives ever onward in search of it. Having seen the promised land, it rages and struggles each day to become more than it was meant to be. And it continues to claw its way forward, even if what it aspires to be does not truly exist. Its insatiable avarice defines it more than it could ever possibly realize. But I'm not a human such as you. I will be, no must be, an existence far beyond the most grandiose thought of such petty, grasping beings. But that's what life is. And those who cannot reach the pinnacle are fated to perish.
Time is a cruel beast whose savageness cannot be sated. Every man, woman, and child feels its claws sinking into their backs, the talons digging ever deeper with each passing day. It marches on, unstoppable, immaterial, unforgiving, and all any of us can do is watch it pass. I claimed even greater power in pursuit of my goals until my time too ran out. All I wanted to do was protect my countrymen, my homeland.
An alternate world with alternate fates and alternate existences. I gambled my own life away to protect the world I called home. Can you truly say that you did any different? I channeled my love for my homeland into power. When I fell before you, did it mean everything was for naught? I alone have seen the true nature of things in this world. And thus, I have learned why all beings must rise and must fall. That all beings that rise must fall. This is a burden which I must bear and prevent from happening ever again. Should you not understand when my goal is pure and just, then you're unworthy of being called a human. Open your eyes and witness the truth. Don't let ignorance cloud your judgment. Rachnios, what did you see before you? Is it a dream or something else?
No. It's something more. A keen eye, as always. The minds of all who've existed, all who will exist, are as one. We, too, are the light and darkness inherent in the mother crystals. I need not point out that the apparitions appearing before you are those whose schemes you have foiled. I've sought them out of my own volition, hoping to manipulate their essences for my own ends. dark, infernal forces, serving as a counterbalance to the light you hope to make manifest. And now's the time for me to fill you with that energy. Come.
You don't really expect to save the world, do you?
At best, you might buy a few more phases of the moon. Even should I fall, there's a grand legion aching to take my place.
So in the end, all my journeys have been utterly without meaning.
One by one, those I have trusted have fallen. None are left to prop me up when I begin to falter. None know who I really am. False prophets, false words, false adventurers. The truth is the pain I feel inside. Each combat's prepared me for the next, but in the end, it's all worthless. A new age is descending, and it threatens to leave me behind. Pandora's box has been opened, overturned, and shaken till nothing remains inside. Perhaps not one, even your precious, precious hope. Some claim that hope is what keeps humanity sane in trying times. Yet in reality is a prison that shuts away the real world. No matter how deeply darkness has penetrated your soul, no matter how much you want to give up, you must not. You cannot. Hope is something seized, not given. Whether surrounded by friends or walking a hard road alone, there's an unshaking value in seeing your path to its conclusion. She's once again dissipated.
You are the culmination of all your experiences. Even those who are gone still depend on you.
And there she goes again. And with that, Chapter 2 of Rhapsodies of Vanadiel is in fact completed. There are 35 quests, and I do kind of anticipate us taking at least all of next week, our 2 streams there, in order to split these up somewhat decently. Mostly to not wear the voice out, assuming we don't run into problems with that. But that ends Chapter 2 of Rhapsodies of Vanadiel. we are rapidly approaching the end of Final Fantasy XI, at least what I want to stream. Like I said, Voracious Resurgence, it exists. I know it exists. We're not doing it. Like, there's a 6-month at minimum grind. Well, it's not going to be 6 months to get to where the story expects you to be for having your prime weapon made. I don't think it's worth it. Now, granted, I'll probably stay subscribed and play a little bit here and there. But, as it is my time with 11, it's been good. It's been interesting to see the design and everything, but honestly, other games call. And like I said, once 11's done, we'll do some Mega Man, then we'll jump into Turok 3. And by then it should be close to Spooktober, if not Spooktober time already. If it's not Spooktober time, we'll start Neo 2. Get interrupted by Spooktober. Well, we'll be interrupted on September 8th. Don't worry, I'll add a little reminder in the UI. Because Final Fantasy XIV will interrupt September 8th. Because it is going to. And then, of course, October's October. That's Spooktober. Very specific games. I'm still bouncing back and forth between whether or not it's going to be Fatal Frame 2, or Silent Hill F, or maybe even Resident Evil Requiem. Don't have Requiem yet, but it's a possibility if it goes on sale anytime soon, though I doubt it will. And then come January of 27, I know, it's hard to think about January. I'm making those types of announcements in advance. In January, when Evercold comes out, that will be taking over the channel until that story is completed. That should take 2 or 3 streams, maybe 4 at most. It tends to be how that works. But in the short term, that's it. We'll be having the standard game testing stream on Monday, midnight. Not posted yet what it is, but it is going to be a set of real-time strategy games. A set I've put a lot of time into. It's the Age of Empires / Mythology series, as they stand on Steam. I wonder how well they run on Linux. We'll find out. I put so much time into those growing up. It is wild. We'll see you next time.